Welcome to the Rewards Master. Today we're going to talk about the ways that I earned approximately 1,189,000 points in 2024 along with my Player 2. So if you would, hit that like and subscribe button and we'll get into all the details together. My Player 2 and I have over 30 active credit cards. Several of them are the high-end different travel cards that are offered. We have the Venture X, we have an American Express Business Platinum, we have the Citi Executive World Elite MasterCard, the Delta Reserve Card, and several others. And so we earn in so many different ecosystems, including Chase, Citi, Capital One, American Express, Bilt, and several airlines and hotel partners. And through it all, through both our personal spending, through business spending, also through transfer bonuses that are offered by different transferable currencies, and just of course, above anything else, the sign-up bonuses. We were able to amass almost 1.2 million points this year. To be more precise, approximately, and these numbers are, I tried to get as close as I could. My spreadsheet is not exactly precise, but you know, when I add and subtract bonuses and all of that, it come out to about 1,189,000 points. Now, along with that, we also had 662,000 approximately that we used in redemption. So that was for business class flights over to Europe a couple different times. We used them for hotel stays. So 662,000 in redemptions from that. Included in that point accumulation was about 395,000 in card bonuses. So we sign up for a card, you get the bonus after you make the eligible spend. And again, that's approximate, but I feel confident that's pretty close. And then when you add all of that together, when you take off the sign-up bonuses, our actual spending earned us almost 800,000 points. So 794,000 points just through spending and through transfer bonuses, because I use a lot of transfer bonuses. If I see a great 30 or 40% transfer bonus, I do that to accumulate more points into the programs that I use very often. So that's kind of the breakdown overall. Now I'm going to go through this breakdown by program by program, to show you what we earned and what we used, and hopefully it'll help you as you try to map out a strategy for 2025. I'm going to start off with the hotel programs. And with Marriott, we don't use Marriott a lot. We do have one Marriott card, the Chase card that has a $95 annual fee. It gives us a free night certificate. So we really didn't accumulate very much. I think total we accumulated right around 7,000 points in 2024. So not a lot going on with Marriott with my Player 2 and myself. With Hyatt, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, we really value Hyatt points, but we tend to stay in higher end hotels when we're flying overseas, and we just haven't found a use for those Hyatt points, although you can get great redemption with Hyatt. We do have a stash of them, but we only earned 11,000 of those Hyatt points this year. And that's only because my Player 2, we always use a Chase card when we travel. We've just found them to be less likely to do the fraud alerts and cause you problems and shut you down and have to call and all of that. So I use a Sapphire Preferred card overseas. She often uses the Hyatt card. So that's really the only way that we got those 11,000 points. But we do have a big stash of them. So I expect when I do this video at the end of this next year, I'll talk about a big redemption with Hyatt. But this year, just about 11,000 points. IHG is kind of the same deal. We have the card that $99 a year. It gives us, a free night certificate, but we don't really prefer IHG. We don't use them all that often. And we earned 27,000 points this year. And I don't even really know how, probably just through some random spending on the card when we were using it. Maybe we stayed at one or two and we used it that way, but that's not a lot of IHG points, 27,000 in 2024. This next one's kind of random. It's Best Western points. And the only reason I have any Best Western points is sometimes when I'm going for work and doing some consulting, I don't book my own hotel and places will book a hotel for me. And there's one place I go periodically that they book a Best Western hotel. So I always just put in my number so that I can get those Best Western points. And so again, that happened this year, and I think I earned 14,000 Best Western points for that stay. I didn't pay for, it was paid for by them. And so just a free, easy 14,000 points. And I think I'm only up to maybe 28,000 or something like that. So don't have a lot of Best Western, don't prefer them, don't ever use them. But hey, if somebody else is paying for it, I'll rack up the points and maybe use it for a night down the road. So that's Best Western. Now we get to the hotel program we do use, and that is Hilton. I have Hilton Diamond status through the Aspire card. We love that. We use that periodically. And so with Hilton, we racked up 106,000 points this year, and we did use some redemptions. In fact, we used 70,000 Hilton points on our redemptions. Now, we still have a big stash of them, because when we got the sign-up bonuses back in 23, man, they were just gigantic. So still have a bunch of those, but earned 106, used 70,000. I think that was for a 2-night stay when we were in Madrid. And so we use Hilton a lot. That's kind of our preferred hotel partner. With that, we move into some of the airline partners that we use. Now, the first ones I'm going to start with are kind of the foreign programs, the ones that aren't the ones I use for work, or that when we travel domestically to see family, which we do a lot of. And so the first one I'm going to look at is Virgin Atlantic. And Virgin Atlantic, the only reason this one kind of came about at the end of the year, in fact, I just opened the account in the last few months because I found that Virgin was having those incredible prices to London. And so when I opened up the account, there was a great bargain for, I think you could get economy tickets for 6,000 points one way to England, and we're not going to do that. So I think I bought the premium economy that was only 10,000 points. Now it had a couple $100 in taxes and fees, but 10,000 points over the pond to England, I thought that was just unbelievably good. So I opened that up, and then I found there was like a 40% transfer bonus. I can't remember if that was American Express or Citi, but 40% transfer bonus. So a lot of the points we accumulated was through transferring and through transfer bonuses. So how that ended up working out is we earned a total of 23,000 points, and we spent, or we redeemed, 20,000 points. So that did not anything crazy. We got the points. It didn't cost us that much because of transfer bonuses from American Express or Citi, but overall we accumulated 23,000. We redeemed 20,000 for those 2 premium economy class flights. The next airline program is Avianca. I have really only used Avianca one time, and it didn't work out great because I ended up having to cancel the flight, and I ended up losing out on that deal. That was a few years ago. But this year, I have accumulated quite a few points with them, only because they often offer transfer bonuses. So when I hit certain thresholds in my transferable currencies, if there's a good transfer bonus in a program I think I might use in the future, I move them over and then make sure to never let them expire. So I check them every month. If anything's even close to expiring, I transfer more points. So this year, we accumulated 47,000 Avianca points through transfer bonuses. So that was pretty good because most of the time that was a 30% transfer bonus, and we didn't do any redemption. So 47,000 Avianca points. Air France is kind of the same way. I really like the program with Air France. There's some really good value if you find it at the right time. We haven't been able to find it at the right time, but all of these points, even though we had no redemptions, no sign-up bonuses, all of these came from transfers and transfer bonuses. And so we accumulated 109,000 Air France Flying Blue points this year through those transfer bonuses. British Airways, kind of the same thing. I'm kind of got a love-hate relationship with British Airways. They have really good point redemption prices, but their taxes and fees are just like, they give you a heart attack when you look at them. I mean, crazy expensive. Get a good deal when it comes to the point value, but then you're looking, it's $800 for a one-way, as far as the taxes and fees. So I kind of love and hate them at the same time, but overall, they had some really good transfer bonuses. So I ended up accumulating 35,000 British Airways Avios, all through transfer bonuses at a 20% or 30% bump. And you can get those with really all of the major currencies. They do transfer bonuses really with everybody. So I'm just going to be watching in the future, make sure the points don't expire, and we'll use them one of these days when we find just the right redemption. Probably the least impressive on this list, because we use it the least, is Southwest Airlines. I am not a fan of Southwest Airlines. I know some people really like them. Some in my family really like them because they have a companion pass and they only fly domestically. And that makes sense for them. But for me, I don't like the kind of being herded together like cattle when you're boarding and all of that. And I have really a card on all the major airlines, so the free bags thing doesn't mean anything to me. So Southwest, my player 2 and I together, I don't even know how this happened, but we accumulated 1,000 Southwest miles. So we must have used the card. Well, we don't have a card. So, we must have had a short, quick flight with them or something, because we accumulated 1,000 points with them. So that was Southwest. That's kind of par for the course. We never use Southwest except in just very, very rare one-off situations. So 1,000 points with Southwest. Now, when it comes to Delta, Delta is one of my primary airlines. Them and American I fly the most. I used to fly United all the time, but now I have status on Delta and American Airlines. Use them pretty much equally on my domestic work travel. And Delta, we accumulated about 73,000 Delta Sky Miles, or Sky Pesos if you call them that, like people in the community do. And that was partly through a 40,000 point bonus that I got for upgrading my Delta card. So 73,000 total, but we still accumulated 40,000 of that through this bonus that I was given. But then we made a lot of redemptions, because the way I look at Delta points, I don't save them for anything. I mean, if I've got the Delta points and we want to go somewhere domestically, I just burn them. I just use them, because you're never going to get good value for them anyway. I don't fly Delta because of the points. I fly Delta because of, well, first of all, there's a Delta Sky Club in my local airport. It's the only lounge in my airport, and I like that. And then also because, well, Delta's got a pretty good flying experience. So we also used Delta in redemptions to the tune of 90,000 points. So, like I said, our balance, I think my balance is in the 40,000s or something now, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's nothing in the near future, because I burn them all the way down, earn them back up a little bit, use them down. So that's how I use Delta Sky Miles. Now we get to United Airlines. Now I had around, I don't know, 100,000 United miles kind of backed up. And I earn a lot of United miles through the United Mileage Plus app. Even though I don't fly United anymore, except for, aspirational things and, kind of one-off trips every now and again, I still love the Mileage Plus X app. And I've got a video on that, check it out. I'll put it at the end of this video. You can kind of click right to it. But the Mileage Plus X app, whether you're a United person or not, it's just free extra miles. So I use it all the time at a lot of major name brand restaurants and shops and things like that. So I think I figured it out, like 12,000 or 15,000 United miles just for free using that app. And the rest I'd already had in my account, maybe just a little bit of flying we do with them. But then I added through a transfer, and I didn't get a bonus on the transfer because you're never going to get that with United. But I added to that, and we used that for a big redemption for this next year to fly Lufthansa business class from Europe back to the United States. And that was a redemption of 160,000 points. But overall, we earned about 13,000 United miles all through that Mileage Plus X app. We redeemed 160,000 United points, and we didn't get any bonuses. So I'm down in my United account to almost nothing as of right now. But that's all right, because that's what the points are for in this game, is to use them for great experiences. Now that leads us to the airline program that I probably use the most. I use Delta a lot too, but I use the most, which is American Airlines. Now American, the reason I love them is the experience on American is not as good as it is, say, on Delta. It's about the same as United, but not as good as on Delta. Their clubs aren't quite as good. I do have their elite card, the executive card through Citibank, because I love lounge access. As you saw in another video that I'll link at the end, I went to my player 2 and I went to 102 lounges this year. So I love that part of the card, but what I really love about American is it is really easy to keep some level of status, and their points are worth just a lot. I mean, their points are worth double what Delta's are, and almost double what United's are, in my opinion. I mean, where else can you get Qatar Q Suite flights for 40,000 points? I mean, they're just super, super valuable. So, and you can't transfer to them from any of the banks. So having that credit card is really valuable, and flying with them, since you have some status, I get 9x on my flights because of my Platinum Pro status. So if I spend $1,000 on a flight, I'm going to get 9,000 both loyalty points and 9,000 miles. So that to me is just, it's a great program. And we earned a lot this year through the credit card and through flying. And so it comes out to 125,000 American miles that we earned this year, with 80,000 miles in redemptions. So we earned 125,000, we used 80,000 in redemptions. Okay, now we're going to kind of wrap up with what we all use probably the most, which is the transferable currency programs. And the one I'll start with is the one I use the least, which is the Bilt program. Now, Bilt, I don't rent. I own a house. I've owned several houses. And the only reason I was able to accumulate any this year in Bilt is, first of all, on the first day of the month, I would go and to all the restaurants we like to eat at during the month, and to get the double points, so 6 points per dollar on that day on dining, I'd just buy gift certificates around town. And that was really cool until they decided that, well, you can only get a total of 1,000 points a month doing that. So I've just laid off of that. It's not worth my time now. But what did happen is, even though I don't rent, one of my properties I had was with Wells Fargo. And if you have a mortgage with Wells Fargo, there was kind of like an unwritten, unspoken thing that you could pay your mortgage and still get the Bilt points, and there'd be no fee. So I did that for a while. Now I've since sold that property, so we don't do that anymore. But overall, through this year, I was able to earn a few. I earned 18,000 Bilt points that way this year. And then I transferred them out at 15,000 points. So transferred 15,000 away, earned 18,000. So nothing terribly impressive there. But the reason that I transferred them out, and I'll always transfer them out, is, wow, if you wait for those Bilt transfer bonuses that are 75%, 100%, 150%, you ain't ever going to find any way to accumulate points faster than that. So I just kind of save them up. And hopefully I've heard that they're going to start letting you pay mortgage payments with it. So maybe I'll be able to rack up a bunch again in the future. But if I do, I'll do the same thing. I'll just save them up. And then when there's a good 100% transfer bonus, I'll transfer them over to somebody. Now we come to Capital One. Capital One is a card that we don't use a lot, the Venture X, but we like it. We like the lounge access. To us, it's like basically net positive, because we always use the $300 travel credit, and we get the 10,000 anniversary points. So it's kind of a no-brainer to keep it open. And my player too keeps that in her wallet, just as, if she's going to use some kind of general spending category that doesn't fall into the card she typically uses, she'll use it. So we didn't earn a ton with them this year. In fact, we earned basically 21,000 points on Capital One through the Venture X. But we did make some big redemptions. We made 156,000 Capital One miles in redemptions. And that's because we took a big trip on Turkish Airlines earlier in the year, and then we took a trip home on business class in Iberia, and on both of those we transferred all the points over, or most of the points over, from Capital One. So we only earned 21,000, we used 156,000 in redemptions. Now, Chase was an interesting one, because Chase is not a program that we use all that much. And even though I kind of think of Chase points as being the very best points that there are, I like them. We have a bunch of them, but those basically came through sign-up bonuses and this, that, or the other. And we do use their cards a little bit, like on the quarterly categories that are great. On the Freedom Flex card, we'll do that. And my spouse uses the Freedom Unlimited quite a bit, but we really only accumulated about 39,000 points. And I had trouble tracking down exactly what the redemptions that we used, but I think we used about 50,000 points in redemptions. So we really kind of went negative on that one. We still had a bunch, so it didn't matter, but those redemptions, that redemption was to United here at the end of the year, so we could buy that Lufthansa business class flight that I talked about earlier in the video. So we earned 39,000 points, used approximately 50,000 of those points in Chase Ultimate Reward points. Okay, now we get to the programs that we had the big earnings in, and some big redemptions too. The first is Citibank. Citibank is my go-to everyday spending. When I'm buying things day by day, in fact, when I look at my apps to pay my bills and to check what I've spent and all of this, my Citibank cards have just like massive amounts on them. And sometimes my American Express and my Chase and Capital One will have just hardly nothing on there. And that's because, wow, nobody else matches my Citibank cards when it comes to the points you can earn. I mean, it's just exponential. On a lot of categories, I'm getting the equivalent of 5.5 because, you know, I've got the Citi Rewards Plus card. It gives that extra 10%. You know, when you redeem points, you get back 10% of them. And then I have just a bunch of categories that are 5% categories. You can do that too with the Citi Custom Cash. My big one though is the Citi Prestige card. It's not available anymore for people, for new applicants, but I just love it because I get 5X on flights and I get 5X on dining, and we do a lot of dining. So when it comes to these cards, Citi, I accumulated a lot of points this year. In fact, I accumulated 187,000 Citi Thank You points in 2024. And some of that was through signups. We received a 75,000 point bonus for my wife signing up for the Strata card, and that was helpful, but 187,000, 75,000 of it was sign-up bonus, and we only spent around 16,000 in redemptions from Citi, and that was basically by transferring over to get those transfer bonuses. So Citi, that was one of my biggest programs, so earned almost 200,000 points. And then we come to the big boy to close it all out, American Express membership reward points. American Express this year, and I think my velocity is going to go way down next year because I might be in pop-up jail, not quite sure. We'll see as we go forward, because I don't really spend on the cards like American Express wants me to. They want you to be a big spender on their cards, and I would say to them, match what Citi gives when it comes to the everyday earnings, and yeah, I'll spend on your cards. I love membership reward points. But they typically don't, so I don't put the spend on there. I don't know if they'll like it. But this year, we earned a whopping 334,000 American Express membership reward points. Now, a lot of that was through two big bonuses. Because of the American Express Business Platinum, I got 190,000 bonus. My Player 2 got a 90,000 bonus on the Gold card. So we got some big bonuses in there, 190,000 and a 90,000 bonus, but still well over 300,000 points earned through American Express. Now, taking away from that, we also did 55,000 points in redemptions. Now, when we look at all of this together, and like I said, these numbers are approximate. I did my best without having to go through every single program and look at every single month's statement. I wasn't going to do that. But I looked at the spreadsheet. I update every month, and I track how many points I have and how much they go up and how much they go down, and just kind of remembering the different redemptions that I did. I think this is pretty close. I mean, it might be within 20,000 points one way or the other, and in individual programs it might be a little up or a little down, but overall, approximately a fairly close guesstimate. That came out to 1,189,000 total earned points. It came out to 395,000 points in bonuses that we received, so that's part of that 1.1 million points that we earned. And then we spent around 662,000 in redemptions. So we flew some business class, we stayed in some nice hotels. That's what points are for. You want to earn them and burn them. You want to use them. And when you subtract all of that, we earned between 750 and 800,000 just through our regular spending, through bonuses, through things like shopping portals, Mileage Plus X, and through, of course, just being able to do transfers and get those extra bonuses from them, all of those different ways, you know, between 750 and 800,000 in regular spending. So now we have a little higher spend than some people, I'm sure, because we have some business spend in there. I do get some points because business will pay for me to travel and I get the points from that. So I know that's a little more than normal, but what I want to show is that if you use your cards smartly, if you look at what the categories are and you plan it out, you can get a lot of points. And generally people think it's just through sign-up bonuses. And we did get a bunch. I mean, 400,000 or so points through sign-up bonuses. But we got more than that through spending. So you can actually earn a significant amount of points through spending. I'd love to hear what your comments are on this. I mean, I'm sure your journey looks different. What kind of approximately, I know you don't want to go through and look it all up and add it, but approximately how many points did you earn this year? How many points did you redeem? How do you feel you're doing in it? Where could you maximize? As I mentioned, I have a couple videos here in the end that you can click on. And if you want to get more information, also, please hit that like and subscribe button as I'm growing the channel. And I hope that your points, earning, and redemption are out of this world as we move into 2025. Have a great day. We'll see you here next time.